Getting set for Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers, alongside Darren Dreger and Jamie McLennan here on TSN.ca and on YouTube. Leon Draisaitl, gentlemen, is not happy with his performance so far in the Stanley Cup Final. He's talked about it in previous games, heading into previous games, but once again today, a lot of accountability dregs from Leon Draisaitl. He was kind of asked the question lightly. Probably could have dodged it and bobbed and weaved his way around it if he wanted to, but he didn't. He's leaning in to the idea that he feels he needs to be better.
Third time in the Stanley Cup Final, Leon Draisaitl has dove on the sword. That's essentially what he did, right? And he talked about how he has a standard for his level of play, and he hasn't met that standard in this championship series against the Florida Panthers. You know, he talked about, which was a bit strange, not being able to find his legs yet. That's concerning because it does help explain why his lack of production has been so prevalent to this point of the series. But I can tell you that every player in that room, Draisaitl included, the coaching staff believes that he's going to have a heck of a Game 6.
I think if the Edmonton Oilers are going to get to Game 7, they need a Draisaitl night. We haven't seen a Draisaitl night. We've seen a McDavid night. We've seen on the other side a Bobrovsky night. Star players have to step forward at critical times. Now, Draisaitl's been great on a supporting cast. I think he's worked hard on the back check. I think he's tried to work hard defensively, but he doesn't have that production right now. Draws are one thing that I've been really focused on, and there's been times where they need that Draisaitl draw, especially on the power play, and he's been getting cleaned out.
So you he's hurt?
I think he's not 100%. And I
saw the splint on the finger there.
Yeah, I mean, you know that he's not 100%. So for him to call himself out, I think he has a level of expectation. But I agree with you, Dregs. I think there's going to be a Draisaitl night. We had the McDavid night the other night. Right. If they're going to extend, it's going to be on 29's back.
Talk about the potential injury. I do believe that when this is all said and done and they start coming out with who had what, we're all going to go, ooh, on Leon Draisaitl. I think that's a real possibility. The other thing with him, too, you know that one-timer they always set him up for on the power play?
Yeah.
We haven't really seen that. Now, whether that's Florida taking it away or maybe Draisaitl doesn't have the pop in the shot, I'm not sure. We'll wait postscript to hear what the situation is. I was chatting with Dylan Holloway earlier today. There's a one-on-one we did that'll be available on TSN.ca as well. I asked him, what's it like when you come out from underneath that tunnel? Like when you're walking towards it, what's actually going through, you know, your blood and your brain, and what are you feeling? And he was like, man, you could hear it in the room before we even go. And he goes, you come walking down that tunnel. He goes, you don't even know what's going on that first 10 or 12 strides. He says, you're just trying hard not to wipe out, like to be careful. The energy, the adrenaline that these players, especially a young one like that, would feel. Dregs, it's going to be mayhem in here tonight.
No
Edmonton
question.
has proved that. It could be a big advantage for Edmonton, but it's also got to be something you kind of keep in check.
Yeah, look, I mean, Florida has experienced it through 2 games, so this will be another test for the Florida Panthers. But you can sense and feel the energy, not just inside this building. I mean, there were times in Game 4 where it felt like literally the roof was going to pop off here. But even around downtown city area.
You had a great interaction today. Do you want to tell that?
It wasn't today. In fact, it was yesterday, and I was in a T-shirt and shorts, incognito. And the one thing, look, there's so many tremendous Edmonton Oilers fans. I had met 2 of them. They wanted a picture yesterday. And after the picture, the guy looks at me and goes, didn't realize you were that portly. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't I'm pretty sure that's not a compliment.
I have to look up what portly means. That's I'm looking at my dictionary. I don't think it is.
Chunky.
But I mean,
I prefer chunky.
I get a lot about the hairline around town here.
Hey, listen, people are honest. They've got no filter around here. That's really what it is.
Good Alberta folk, okay? But what do you think about harnessing the energy, Noodle?
You have to, and it's going to be goosebumps. Keep in mind, this is the last game live that this fan base is going to see this season. Regardless if they win or lose, they are going to be on absolute fire tonight. It's a beautiful day. You're going to have patio weather. People are going to be enjoying themselves in the square heading in. I think you're right for the players to keep it in check as far as emotion. But for the Florida Panthers, that might drive them a little bit too as well. That's what you've got to be mindful of, is Florida is going to be saying in the dressing room, take that crowd out of it, because they are the 7th man for the Edmonton Oilers right now. And if you score one early for the Panthers, you're going to silence the crowd or at least get some angst within them. So that has to be the focus on the other side. But for the Edmonton Oilers, keep your emotions in check and try and have a good start. That first 10 minutes is key.
We saw Stuart Skinner on the broadcast bobbing and singing and having a good time during the game. He talked yesterday about, you got to be in it. You got to be loose. You got to be having fun. I don't know how much fun Bobrovsky's had the last couple of games here, Noodles. There's been a real shift in the goaltending narrative here, but Bobrovsky has it in him to come in and goalie the Oilers tonight. But it's been Skinner lately.
It has been. So Stuart Skinner, you mentioned, has been feeling it. And that's was Sergei Bobrovsky those first 3 games where he steals game 1. I think it was fantastic in game 3. You look at Bobrovsky, the one thing from a structural standpoint is Edmonton's doing a good job of not allowing him to get set and be aggressive. And on the other side, Stuart Skinner has been aggressive, and the one thing I've been impressed about is he's not giving up on pucks.
Right.
It's not style points, it's side to side, make a big glove save. You worry about style points after you've made the save, and to me, Skinner, his battle level on the net has been so impressive.
Yeah, he's exercised the demon of that bad goal too, right?
Yeah.
The sketchy one. And I think a lot of that, full credit to Skinner for the composure and the confidence that he now has in his game. But Matthias Ekholm talked about how the Oilers are comfortable now in the defensive zone on the off day yesterday, right? There's no panic in their game. They realize that they're playing a very good Florida Panthers team, and there are going to be stretches in the D zone where you got to battle it for 40, 50 seconds. So there's no panic there. How many times in this series, Noodles, you identified it the other day, where you see if there's not a clean out, just lob that puck into the neutral zone and reset. And I think the structure, the defensive side of the Oilers game has sharpened up, and that's taking some of the heat off Skinner.
Evander Kane looked like he was pushing yesterday. He was out there, he was skating, he was taking part in drills. You really got the feeling like he's sort of looking at the coach like, yo, I'm ready. But Dregs, he wasn't on the ice this morning for morning skate, and you would have to think if he was trying to make a case for himself to be playing, we'd see him skating in certainly on back-to-back days, whether that was prepping for tonight, Game 6, or a potential Game 7.
I agree with that, and they did like the way he looked in that full practice yesterday. Chris Knobloch describes it as a game-time decision. I'm willing to go as far as to say that I believe that Evander Kane is unlikely. I mean, he's going through all sorts of pain scenarios in terms of management. My understanding this morning is that the normal routine of getting him as close to being ready as they can didn't take. It's not working today, so I think he's unlikely.
And keep in mind, you want Evander Kane in the lineup, but they've won the last couple games with the lineup they've had right now, so you don't want to maybe disrupt that, especially if he doesn't have his A game. And it's really tough to jump on a moving train. You want him in there to be a counter punch for guys like Bennett so that he doesn't skate through the crease and run over Stuart Skinner accidentally on purpose like he did the other night. But ultimately, it's a fine line going, we want him in, but we've got something working here the last couple games.
It's going to be fantastic in this building here tonight. The panel is going to improve as well on SportsCenter because Sir James Duthie is landing, I think, in the next 20 minutes. So on SportsCenter tonight, James and the panel will have coverage. I'll be here with the insiders, Chris Johnston, Pierre Lebrun, Craig Button, I think, is going to be in the building. So tons of coverage later today on SportsCenter. Should be a fun setup to Game 6 here tonight.